Tonight, we're diving headfirst into the abyss, exploring chilling tales from the end of the world. These are stories born from the silence after the screams, tales of survival, desperation, and the gnawing dread of the zombie apocalypse. Our first story begins in the skeletal remains of what was once a bustling city. Imagine a lone survivor, Leo, making his way through the hollowed-out canyons of steel and glass. For months, he's been utterly alone, his only companions the echoes of his own footsteps and the distant, hungry groans of the undead. His routine is a grim metronome of scavenging, reinforcing, and listening. Always listening. One evening, huddled in a derelict bookstore on the 30th floor, a sound cuts through the familiar moans. It's faint, but unmistakable. Music. A tinny, repetitive melody, like a child's music box drifting on the wind. For the first time in a year, a feeling other than fear or exhaustion flickers within him. Hope? Or was it curiosity? He couldn't be sure, but he knew he had to find the source. The next morning, armed with a sharpened pipe and a backpack containing his meager supplies, Leo sets out. He moves from rooftop to rooftop, a dangerous parkour over the city of the dead. The music is his compass, growing slightly louder, then fading, playing tricks on the wind. The streets below are a writhing carpet of infected, a constant, terrifying reminder of the cost of a single misstep. He thinks of them not as people, but as the shamblers. It helps to dehumanize them, to keep the paralyzing fear at bay. After 2 days of treacherous travel, he finally pinpoints the source. The melody is coming from the old city hospital, a place everyone knew to avoid. It was one of the first places to fall, a chaotic epicenter of the outbreak. Common sense screamed at him to turn back, that this was a trap, but the music, so clean and innocent in this filthy, decaying world, was a siren's call he couldn't resist. Was there a child? Another survivor creating a beacon of sanity? He finds a way in through a shattered third-story window, landing silently in a corridor littered with overturned gurneys and dried, dark stains. The hospital is eerily quiet inside, a stark contrast to the noise of the streets. The music is louder now, echoing from somewhere deep within the building's heart. He moves cautiously, his every sense on high alert. He passes rooms with faded "Get well soon" cards still taped to the doors, ghosts of a forgotten time. The music leads him to the pediatric ward. The hallway is painted with faded murals of cartoon animals, a cheerful veneer over a place of immense suffering. The melody is coming from the last room on the left. The door is slightly ajar. Leo's heart is a drum against his ribs. He peeks inside. The room is pristine, unnaturally clean compared to the rest of the hospital. In the center of the room, a small, vintage music box sits on a nightstand, its tiny ballerina spinning endlessly. There's no one there. A cold dread, far worse than the fear of the shamblers, washes over him. Who wound the music box? He scans the room. Tucked in the corner, almost hidden in the shadows, is a small, child-sized bed. On it, a figure lies perfectly still under a clean white sheet. Leo approaches slowly, his pipe held ready. He reaches out a trembling hand and pulls back the sheet. It's not a child. It's a doll. An old porcelain doll with glassy eyes and a cracked smile. And pinned to its simple dress is a note, written in a shaky, almost childish script. It reads, "She loves her music. Don't let it stop." A floorboard creaks behind him. Leo spins around, but there's nothing there. Just the open doorway and the long, dark hallway. He realizes the horrifying truth. He wasn't drawn here by a survivor. He was lured here. By what? Or who? The music box keeps playing, its cheerful tune now a mocking, terrifying loop. He is not alone in the hospital. He is in a trap. Let's leave Leo in his chilling predicament for a moment and journey to a completely different landscape of the apocalypse. Picture a vast, windswept prairie. Here, a small community of survivors has carved out a life on a fortified ranch. They are led by an old woman named Ilara, whose grandchildren were among the first to be born after the fall. They have walls, they have crops, they have a system, they have a future, or so they believe. Their biggest threat isn't the small, manageable clusters of roamers that wander the plains, but something they call the Whisperers. For weeks, strange phenomena have plagued them. Tools go missing from locked sheds. Livestock is found miles away, unharmed but terrified. And at night, faint whispers seem to carry on the wind, speaking names of the living and the dead. The community is on edge, paranoia spreading faster than any infection. A young scout named Ben decides he's had enough of the fear. He believes it's just another group of survivors trying to intimidate them, to steal their resources. Against Ilara's warnings, he sets out alone, determined to find the source of the whispers and prove they are only human. He follows a trail of oddly placed markers, piles of stones, carved symbols on trees that seem to lead nowhere and everywhere at once. For 3 days, Ben treks across the empty plains. The silence is immense, broken only by the wind. But at night, the whispers return. They sound like they're right beside his ear, calling his name, mentioning his younger sister who was lost in the early days. It's unnerving, psychological warfare. He clutches the hilt of his machete, his resolve hardening. He will not be broken. On the 4th day, he stumbles upon something that makes his blood run cold. In a small, hidden ravine, he finds a massive herd of zombies. Thousands of them. They aren't shambling aimlessly, they are standing still, silent, facing the same direction, as if listening to a command. In the center of the horde, standing on a rocky outcrop, is a figure. It's too far to see clearly, but it's not a zombie. It's moving with purpose, gesturing. It's a conductor, and the dead are its orchestra. Ben realizes the terrifying truth. The whispers, the strange occurrences. It wasn't a rival group. It was one person, a single survivor who had somehow learned to control the horde. Not with sound or overt commands, but through some subtle, horrifying means. The whispers weren't just a threat. They were reconnaissance. The missing tools were tests of their security. This conductor wasn't just passing by, they were studying his community. They were planning an attack, using the dead as their army. The figure on the rock slowly turns its head, as if it can feel Ben's eyes on it from half a mile away. Ben knows he has to run to get back and warn Ilara. But how do you fight an enemy who wields an army of thousands? How do you defend against a tactic you don't even understand? As he scrambles away, he hears the whispers again, this time not on the wind, but directly in his mind. A single, clear thought that is not his own. I see you. These stories remind us that in a zombie apocalypse, the most terrifying monsters aren't always the dead. Sometimes they are the living, twisted by grief, power, or sheer madness. The true horror lies in the unknown, in the things that defy the new rules of survival. What would you do in their shoes? Would you investigate the music? Would you face the whispers? Let me know your survival plan in the comments below. These stories are a chilling reminder that when the world ends, the struggle for survival is only the beginning of the nightmare. Thank you for journeying into the darkness with me tonight. If you enjoyed these tales of the apocalypse, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more horror stories. Ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next descent into fear. Stay safe and check your locks.